Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our seminar tonight, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us. My name is Jennifer Bernsteel, and I'm the program manager with the Business and Education Partnership of Waterloo Region. We're a local charity that helps young people in our community explore future possibilities for careers. I'd like to thank representatives from both of our local school boards for helping us put on this session tonight. And I'd also like to thank our keynote speaker, Jon Callegher, all of who are shown on the screen right now, for making this happen. Our goal is to help you better understand career opportunities in the skilled trades and how interested students like you can explore these options while you're still in high school. Our event will have 3 parts. First, we will begin with our keynote presentation by Dr. Jon Callegher, Executive Director of Job Talks, a research and media agency focusing on Canadian workers. This will be followed by a joint presentation about how the OYAP program works in the schools. And we will have Sedalia Taggart, Student Achievement Consultant from the Waterloo Catholic District School Board, answering your questions and talking, along with David Pope, OYAP Coordinator for the Waterloo Region District School Board. Finally, you will have an opportunity to ask questions. You may also post your questions at any time throughout the night using the chat, using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And we will be doing our best to answer as many as we can throughout the chat or at the end live. Try to keep your questions as general as possible, but we will do our best to answer them. If we don't get to your questions when the seminar ends in an hour, don't worry, we will be taking all the questions at the end, and David and Sedalia will be answering them, and we will send them to you in a follow-up email that will come later. So just to let everyone know, for privacy issues, your video and audio are turned off, and we hope that you can take all the information you learned tonight back to your guidance counselors if you have further questions. And just before we start, I am going to do the land recognition. I'd like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather today is the land traditionally used by the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe and neutral peoples. We acknowledge their enduring presence, the deep traditional knowledge, laws, and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Jon Callegher, Executive Director of Job Talks, to join me on camera. He's already here. Jon is on a mission to share his research about job satisfaction in the skilled trades in an age when such jobs are in high demand. He wants to ensure that every student is aware of the personal, emotional, health, security, and financial benefits of a skilled trades career. As a leading researcher in job satisfaction, Dr. Jon Callegher has interviewed hundreds of tradespeople, surveyed thousands of workers, and has directed more than $1.5 million in research partnerships in this topic. Jon is also a professor in the School of Marketing at Toronto's George Brown College, with a PhD in sociology from the University of Waterloo. He is a professional keynote speaker who has discussed his research on the radio, television, and conferences internationally, and he's also a published author, and he's been published in the Globe and Mail. We are very privileged to have Jon with us here tonight to share all his research and information. So I am going to turn it over to Jon, who will do a presentation now. Thank you, Jon.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and thanks as well to our board partners, representatives, Sedalia and David. I'm really honored to be spending time with all of you today, but in particular, the students who are watching and any parents who are joining, and maybe even some educators too who are signing in this evening. My name, as mentioned, Dr. Jon Callegher. You can just call me Jon. I'm going to bring up some slides here, everybody. You're going to see them on your screen in a moment. It says 5 great reasons to pursue a career in the skilled trades. So as Jennifer mentioned, I am a researcher, and as someone who is interested in research, a researcher starts off with a research question. And for me, being someone who has always been interested in job satisfaction and people's different ways in explaining that type of satisfaction they have with work, I have this research question: what makes a good job? I'd love for anyone watching right now, especially if you're a student, to sort of say that answer out loud or to yourself. How would you answer that question? What makes a good job? I'm willing to bet that for many people, you said money, or maybe you meant to say good money, right? And maybe you also said a good job is one where you're happy in your job. And there's a good chance you said one or two of those things. But there's also some other things. But I have to tell you, I asked the same question to caregivers in Ontario. And I explained this last month when I delivered a talk to your region, that according to caregivers in Ontario, a good job, you can see this is a word cloud. The larger the word or phrase, the more popular the answer. A good job is one where you can make a difference. You have advancement opportunities, you have security, flexibility, benefits, low stress, good culture, work-life balance. But when it comes down to it, everybody, even caregivers, parents agree that a good job is one, yeah, where there's good pay and it is fulfilling. And as I talked about last month, and for anyone who wants to go and check out that recording, it's available. I justified some interesting research about skilled tradespeople, which is while parents and caregivers believe that a good job is one that has good pay and is fulfilling, that skilled tradespeople, it is a fact, have very fulfilling and very good paying jobs. And I explained how I got there in last month's session, which you can check out online. Now, when I talk more about this idea of skilled trades or this reality of skilled trades, over the years, I've come to notice that many Canadians, maybe including some people at home watching, actually, you don't know a lot about skilled trades. I was among these group of people as well, a limited understanding. In fact, when you ask Canadians this question, name a skilled trade, can you name a skilled trade? Canadians, about a third of them will guess, they'll say something incorrect, or they'll say, you know what? I don't know. I've heard of the skilled trades before, but I can't actually explain the different types of skilled trades or what those type of workers do. So I actually want to ask that question to you. Can anyone here watching, especially if you're a student, can you name a skilled trade? How many can you name? Can you name a skilled trade? When I asked this question to the general population of Canada, in addition to, like I said, about a third of Canadians not having an answer, the most popular answer of those who can name a skilled trade is carpenter, plumber, and electrician. Those are the top three answers among Canadians, and welder is number four. Everybody, there are more than 140 different types of skilled trades, and they can be explored in high school. If you're at high school age right now, or you're going to high school soon, you will have the opportunity through the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program to try out a skilled trade. And as you heard Jennifer say at the beginning, we have representatives Sedalia and David from the Catholic Board and the Public Board, respectively, here to answer your questions about these apprenticeship skill trade related programs in high school. So make sure you ask questions throughout this presentation in the Q&A. Please take advantage of that feature. There are four major areas of the skilled trades, everybody. We have motive power skilled trades like auto body and collision damage repairs, or automotive service technicians, or truck and coach technicians, or marine engine technicians. I want to just mention anytime you see a image of a young person in the skilled trades with a job title, I've interviewed that person. As Jennifer mentioned at the top, I've interviewed hundreds of young people in skilled trades, and I've produced them into videos. I'm going to give you a link when I'm finished where you can search. I want to see that video with a truck and coach technician or a marine engine technician or many more. I'll give you that link when I'm finished. So jot down if you are interested in watching any of these interviews All of them are young people in Ontario. Motive power skill trades, many, many more examples. There's also an area where there's a lot of variety called the services skill trades, everybody, where we have a chef, for example, or a sous chef, that's a helper to a chef, or a pastry chef, hairstylists, horticultural technicians, so much variety in what we call services skill trades. You can also find early childhood educators, child development practitioners, child and youth workers in services skill trades. So we had motive power skill trades, services skill trades, also industrial skill trades, massive area of opportunity, very well paying and in demand in Ontario. For example, tool and die makers, hydraulic pneumatic mechanics, industrial electricians, welders, so many skilled trades in the industrial sector in Ontario. And lastly, but certainly not least, a huge, massive area. You know what it is? Construction skilled trades, everybody. There's residential construction when you're building up homes and communities and condos. And there's infrastructure construction when you are connecting those communities, right? With bridges and roads and waterways. And then there's civil construction, working on massive building projects. We're going to show examples of different types in a moment. But for example, on the screen here, we have general carpenters, we have loader operators, we have tile setters, that's a construction skill trade, insulation installers, and so many more. Now, by way of showing you more examples of people in the skilled trades, and again, letting you know that I've interviewed all these people and you can get access to those interviews when I'm finished. And I want you to be able to uh, connect maybe an interest of yours or two or three with a potential skilled trade. To do that, I'm going to ask you as I read them out from this list, these interests, just say to yourself, yes or no, or kinda, are you interested in any of these things as I read them out in terms of a future career? Thinking of a future career, students, thinking of that future career, are you interested maybe in a job where you can make beautiful things? I mean, you're interested in that. How about a job where you can help grow food? Anyone interested in that? How about fixing things? Anyone have that interest in a future career? How about a job where you are making things old new again, restoration, restoring things? Anyone have that interest? How about a job where you wake up in the morning and you know it's guaranteed you're going to make people smile every single day? Does anyone have an interest here in preparing delicious food? How about working inside homes that are being built? Anyone interested in that? How about working outside homes? Does anyone here have an interest in controlling temperature? What does he mean by that? You'll find out what I mean. So I want you now just to try to remember where you sort of put your hand up, internally said, yeah, I'm kind of interested in that. And I'm going to show you now some areas of the skill trades where those interests can be realized. And I'll say a little bit about each of these unique skill trades that can match your interest. If you said I'm interested, for example, in making beautiful things, well, tile setters do that, right? Tile setters create art. They apply their artistic skills on tile work and mosaics, on walls, floors, even some ceilings and different types of office buildings, new homes that are being built, museums, churches, and more. Right? Cabinet makers make beautiful things. You will one day, most people will go to someone's home and they'll be very proud of their beautiful new kitchen that they spent a lot of money on and had installed. That was the work, in many cases, of a cabinet maker who made those beautiful things, those cabinetry that people are so proud of. Just a few examples of skilled tradespeople that make beautiful things. There are helping grow food types of skilled trades, like a horticultural technician. This is Alyssa here. I interviewed her in Niagara Falls. She's working out at Niagara Falls Botanical Gardens. She got her placement in high school and started working at a botanical garden. She loves her apprenticeship. There's Isaac underneath her, underneath Alyssa there. He's an agricultural equipment technician. Isaac gets to operate those giant machines that you see on the left. The wheel on that machine, the triangular wheel, was as tall as my head, actually higher. And he gets to test drive those machines after, of course, he repairs them. And because he keeps them repaired, we can have food on our tables in Ontario. There are also skilled tradespeople who fix things. If you're interested in fixing things, well, here's Melinda in the top right. She's a welder, right? She's a welder fabricator. Not only do welders create things by fusing metal together, but they also fix, they repair. Handymen or handy persons, they go in different types of environments like it could be anything from hotels and schools and office buildings, hospitals. They get work orders and they fix a lot of different things every day, lots of variety. Are you interested in restoring things, making things old new again? Well, brick and stone masons, bricklayers. At the top right, that's Celeste. Celeste is a brick and stone mason apprentice when I interviewed her. She's a full-on Red Seal brick and stone mason today. And she goes to different historical buildings, older homes, and restores them for future generations to appreciate. She gets to work outdoors too, and she's happy. She really likes her job in the skilled trades. Making people smile. Now, there are some jobs that do more of this than others in the skilled trades. Everybody, hairstylists, of course. You can go to work every day knowing that you're going to make people smile multiple times a day, multiple times an hour. Right. And by the way, at the top right, that is Lina. Lina started in high school competing in hairstyling competitions through something called Skills Ontario. And she went through the OYAP program as well at her school. And today, she is the owner of her own salon in Kitchener Waterloo. Some of you might have even seen her, or maybe you haven't been in because I'm pretty sure the prices are pretty high. She's that good as a hairstylist and entrepreneur business owner. Started in high school and hairstyling. Pastry chefs, of course, you're going to make people smile, making tasty treats all the time. I would also say you make people smile if you're interested in preparing delicious food, right? Chefs, sous chef, as I mentioned, that's a helper to a chef. For anyone who said they're interested in working inside homes, well, insulation installers, carpet installers, so many types of careers are involved in working inside homes. I could say more: trim carpenters, hardwood floor installers, drywallers, and so much goes into the construction of and renovation of homes inside and also outside as well. There are careers like panel installers, framers. They put the wooden kind of the skeletons out on the home so that all the work can get done outside and in. On the left, by the way, that is Andrea. Andrea is a general carpenter apprentice. Andrea started in her high school as in the Specialist High Skills Majors program, SHSM. And then from there, she got curious about carpentry. She moved into the OYAP program where she focused on carpentry. And then for her apprenticeship, where she got to learn hands-on, she got linked up with a company that builds custom luxury homes. That's where she did her apprenticeship. Andrea, on the screen, will become, everybody, parents, caregivers, please hear me, a full-on general carpenter by the time she is 22, 23 years old. Isn't that incredible? It is incredible. Started in high school through the HSSM program or SHISM or SHAZAM program and the OYAP program. Controlling temperature, refrigeration and air conditioning mechanics. These are individuals who go to different places where they have large refrigeration systems that some of us take for granted. They're always in the background, but they got to be repaired, maintained, installed. HVAC. What does HVAC stand for? Anybody? Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. This is Jean-Pierre. He goes to communities when they're being built, right? And a subdivision, for example, of homes. What do they need? They need heating, ventilation, air conditioning. He goes in, installs them in a home, and then the next time he goes into the home next door and so forth. Some variety in his job too. He really likes his job. Jean-Pierre started very young. So one more round. We're not done. There's so many skilled trades, everybody. Anyone here interested in being at heights? You have that interest, being at heights. Are you an adrenaline seeker? How about digging the earth? You're not good with heights. You'd rather be down low. Anyone interested in that? Anyone interested in giving power, electric power to communities? How about controlling water, the giver of life, water? Anyone interested? This is more popular nowadays, taking care of vehicles. How about instead of taking care of vehicles, you'd rather be maybe driving big vehicles? Anyone interested in that? How about using special tools? Anyone have that interest? Any very organized people here? Can you see yourself coordinating projects or supervising people? So just like last time, think about, try to remember when you kind of said to yourself, yeah, that's interesting to me. And I'll show you some areas of the skill trades where those interests can be realized. If you said you're interested, actually, before that, I'll just remind everyone again, if you have a question about anything that I've said so far or that's been on your mind, use the Q&A feature and you will get your answers, possibly while I'm talking. Go in the background or answered when I'm finished. So take advantage of that Q&A, whether you're a student or a caregiver on the line, get your questions answered by the experts in your respective school boards, your skilled trades champions who are volunteering their time to be here tonight. Take advantage. Okay, if you're interested in being at heights, everybody, iron workers. Iron workers get high up. This is my friend Jamie. Jamie in the top right was an iron worker. She got high up in skyscrapers, stadiums, and put what she describes as the steel bones into these structures. Very exciting work, but you have to be comfortable being at heights. Underneath, that's Stefan, tower crane operator. Stefan climbs up in those tower cranes that you see when you go by a construction site. Look how young he is. He has that responsibility. He's in his early 20s. He has that responsibility of moving things from one side of a construction site to another. Gets paid really well because there's, a risk involved because you have to be okay being up high for long periods of time, but he loves his job and he found a match being okay with being at heights and a skilled trades career. Digging the earth. How do we have subways and waterways and all the things that go on underneath us? Someone operates what's called a TBM, a tunnel boring machine. So that tunnel boring machine operator operates a sophisticated machine in the top right that slowly digs underneath the earth so that we could have subways and waterways and many things that we take for granted. Foundation drill rig operators. They operate that giant machine that you see on the left, and they put huge columns into the earth so that we can have stadiums and large bridges and more. I hope as I'm going through these types of careers, you're saying, I didn't realize that was a job, but that makes sense. Someone has to do that. There are very common types of careers that we hear about as we go through life. But sometimes it takes attending a session like this to have your world open to a whole nother area of work that we don't often think about, don't often see. Giving power to communities. So we have power line electricians, right? Electricians. They give power to communities. I've interviewed many electricians, and what I always am fascinated about is the chase, right? They have this fascination with just getting the power back on when it's off. It's an adrenaline rush. You want to help people get back to their lives. And it reminds me, everybody, that skilled tradespeople help people too. Think about it. We had wildfires in California. That's hard to ignore, right? You hear those news stories. Natural disasters, things happen all the time when people's homes are destroyed, even their communities are destroyed. We call upon first responders, right? We call upon healthcare workers to help, but we also call upon, that's right, skilled tradespeople to help people to fix their homes, repair roofs, fix pipes, install roads and bridges, doing all kinds of things that the average person doesn't know how to do. So remember that skilled tradespeople help their communities. Controlling water, very exciting. Plumbing. If you watch the two interviews here with these two individuals who are plumbers, you're going to learn very quickly something that might surprise you, which is that plumbing does not have to be all about or anything to do with unclogging toilets and unclogging drains. Many kinds of plumbing are about installation, installing new pipes and new piping fixtures in new construction projects. Not all of plumbing is unclogging, and in some areas, you don't do it at all. Controlling water, very exciting. Skilled trades, and again, many people get their start in high school. Taking care of vehicles, very exciting. I recently met someone who is very high up in the electric vehicle sector, and she was telling me, she was saying that she's very, very frustrated with the lack of professionals who are qualified to take care, that is, to repair the vehicles of the future. For example, you can't really just take a Tesla anywhere. It's got to be brought back to Tesla to be repaired or to a certified technician. And she said there just isn't enough people who can do that right now. So it's your generation, the younger generation, who will take care of the vehicles of the future. Truck and coach technicians, larger vehicles, and also automotive service technicians, the more standard size vehicles. Driving, how about being behind the wheel instead? Bulldozer operators, mobile crane operators. This is Larissa here and Ben. Both of them operate what you could say are the real world versions of the toys they used to play with in the sandbox when they were kids. And they get to be outdoors. They get to see the results of their work immediately every day. They carve a path, they're well paid, and they're happy driving big vehicles. Anyone say that they're interested in using special tools, Well, trim carpenters, they put the fine finishing into homes when they're near completion. Tool and die makers, they use specialized parts and machines for use in other special parts and machines, and they need a lot of specialized hand-eye coordination and precision there. For anyone who said they're interested in coordinating projects, I call them skilled trades adjacent careers, project managers, project coordinators, working alongside skilled tradespeople, working a little bit indoors and outdoors, and also supervisors. This is Julia in the top right, right? Julia, as you can see in the top right and on the left, is, well, by the image, making sure that the guys and the older guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Many skilled tradespeople as well, like Catan in the bottom right, start off right in skilled trades, and maybe they also can go into health and safety management positions or supervisory positions. There's a lot of movement for people in skilled trades careers. Some of you at your school may even have a teacher who has a skilled trades background as well. All right, everybody. So that was a lot. There are many skilled trades, many, many more. Ask Sedalia from the Catholic Board and David from the Public Board about anything in the Q&A related to your interests. I'll say more now about a word that you heard me say a few times, that is an apprenticeship. A skilled trades career starts with an apprenticeship. And an apprenticeship is when you learn a skilled trade with support from a mentor. For anyone who was at the session last month, I talked about how young people are craving mentorship in their young adulthood and in their educational journey, but they're not getting it. Think about it. For anyone here who knows someone who's in post-secondary, that is college or university, for any parents or caregivers watching, did you have a mentor during your educational journey? Or were you more likely a student in just a large classroom for 3 or 4 years? What's beautiful about the skilled trades pathway, the apprenticeship pathway, is that in order to become proficient, you have to learn under supervision of a mentor, a journey person, someone who is experienced to teach you, guide you. And bonus, skilled tradespeople in their apprenticeship, they get paid while going to work and while going to class. Registered apprentices get paid, must be paid in Ontario for their educational journey. I'll say more about that as part of a section on 5 reasons to pursue an apprenticeship. But just before that, I want you to hear from a few people just talking about the support, the mentorship that they get while they're on their high school apprenticeships. Here we go. This is a video clip.
I secured my co-op placement by talking to my co-op teacher, Mr. Polillo, and expressing I wanted to try a career in the trades. He brought me to the owner, Kyle, and he gave me an interview and then brought me onto Arc Electrical. Mr. Palila supported me during my placement by checking on me, making sure that I was okay. He does visits with us just to make sure that we're safe and happy with our placements, and he made sure that this was the right choice for me.
My co-op teacher supported me by always staying in contact with me, especially throughout the first few weeks of the co-op, making sure that I enjoyed it and that it was something I wanted to do, as well as she also texted me throughout the co-op to let me know that if I wasn't enjoying it, there are other options that I can explore.
So you heard there that students are supported by their co-op teachers, right? While they are on their apprenticeship during high school. All right, everybody, let's get into 5 great reasons to pursue a career in the skilled trades. But as I jump into that, I have to let you know what we know about many younger workers today. I wish I could say it is good news, but there's some not so good news there. We can say that today's young workers are feeling quite lost. Many are stressed, they are worried, they are tired, and they are unfortunately in debt. I'm going to say we probably drew a little evidence, a little explanation for why that is unfortunately the case today. But I'm also going to share with you why in the skilled trades, each of these problems are, in my opinion, addressed. So let's start off with feeling lost. Many young people, unfortunately, well, it's unfortunate. It sounds like a great thing, right? When you have at your fingertips the entire world's information at your fingertips. I mean, think about that. That's incredible. But it also offers you so many opportunities and views of the world and things to do. And it's hard to focus sometimes, and you don't know how am I going to make a difference in the world? What contribution am I going to make to society? What I have noticed in young people that I've interviewed is that the sense of being lost and unsure about the future completely goes away as a result, I can say, of having specialized in something, having discovered something, and deciding that they really want to get good at something that many other people are not, and focusing on that and becoming an expert in something when everyone else around them is still unsure about what they want to do with their life. It's an interesting piece of confidence that comes from these young people in skilled trades. And I want to just say something. I touched on it in the past, but I want to just say something about intelligence, right? And I want to just say that when we think about intelligence, we tend to think about intelligence in terms of academic intelligence. But intelligence actually is just the ability to see patterns, right? The ability to see patterns. Anyone who takes an IQ test, you're going to be shown a sequence, and then you choose what comes next in the sequence, A, B, C, or D, and then next question. Well, there's academic intelligence, which we could describe as seeing patterns in words, history, spreadsheets. And we say those are the smart people. Those are smart people. But there's also people who see patterns more out in the world, who prefer hands-on learning, who like to solve problems out in the real world. Okay. And who can do the things that many of us would have no idea how to fix. How, if the Wi-Fi went out right now, would anyone actually know what to do besides just turning the modem on and off again? Right? If we needed to, if a pipe exploded in your home, would you know how to fix it? Right? If the roof caved in, if you needed to make a meal that required more than 10 ingredients, would we be able to do it with confidence? If we needed to cut someone's hair and do a good job, would we be able to do that? There are so many things that require specialization beyond spreadsheets and words and numbers. And I call that balanced intelligence. And without these people who lean to more this type of intelligence, we wouldn't have the civilization that we have today. And I think we should see both of those types of intelligences as equal. In debt is a problem that young people are facing as well. I talked about this in the session last month with some more examples of headlines, but I'll just show you a headline here again about the what we call insolvency rate in Canada. So nearly half of all insolvencies. That means when you can't pay your bills on time, Okay, last year were filed by millennials. Okay, and that is a factor related to the expensive homes, right? So the cost, we call that mortgage, paying back a mortgage, the debt that's related to mortgage debt, combined with student debt, tuition debt. For many young people watching, you might not be familiar with this, but maybe if you have an older sibling or relative, you are aware of the cost of tuition, paying for school after high school. Average tuition debt, okay, average money owed. Okay, after paying some of it to the school, you still owe money. Graduation from college is $16,800, and from university, it's $30,800. That should say $30,800. So this is something that can be completely addressed in a different kind of path that many people didn't know about, and that is an apprenticeship. Okay, an apprenticeship. So apprentices get paid while they are learning. They get paid while they are learning. That means that throughout their entire educational journey, they are earning. And when they graduate, they have no student debt. It is something that I know many people who have careers today, who went to college or university, just wish that they knew was an option. And I'm glad that many of you will know this as an option. I want to play you a clip here. All three young people are apprentices that you're going to hear from, and all of them are earning money as registered apprentices while they are still in high school. They're being paid while they're in high school in their Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, OYAP program apprenticeship. Here we go.
I started as a registered apprentice in grade 11. I sat down with my co-op teacher and my employer, told them I'd like to pursue it as a career, and they helped me get it started.
While I was in grade 12 and was working at Aurelia Volkswagen for my co-op placement, I decided that was a career field that I'd like to enter. I let my co-op teacher know and the shop foreman know that I was interested in becoming an automotive service technician. They let me know that I would have to get set up with our OYAP coordinator. Once the paperwork was done, I was signed up as an apprentice before I graduated high school.
My advice to all students looking to go into the trades is to try as many trades as possible. It's hard work, but it's very rewarding. You also have the opportunity to earn money while learning.
I love hearing those types of stories and of these young people. And when they become skilled tradespeople, right? When they're fully certified in their careers, they're in their early 20s and they're starting their lives without any student debt. I started earning when I was 17 years old. Many, depending on the area that one goes into, they can get weekly travel allowances. You can get cash for completing the levels of their apprenticeship, money for completing level 1, for completing level 2, and so forth. Some even get cash for completing their apprenticeship. How many here, for any parents or caregivers watching, when you graduated, you were given a check? Probably not. You were thinking about maybe writing the check, right? So you can support a family on it. The tuition fee for a registered apprenticeship that does not require college or university is around just $400 per calendar year. That's it. And again, many people did not know this was the case. It has been the case for, I believe, at least 20 years, but it's only in recent years that there's been an excellent push from school boards across Ontario, including yours, to let people know about this amazing pathway. And that's my opportunity to remind you again, if you haven't, take advantage of the Q&A to get any questions answered by David and Sedalia in the public and Catholic boards, respectively. So tired is also an emotion we're hearing from our younger workers today. So why people are reporting that they're feeling tired is two reasons. One reason is we are staying up later at night streaming good content, quality content, right? And it's just, we're going to bed later and we're waking up the normal time. So we're not getting enough sleep. So we're feeling physically tired, but tired also means it's the feeling of that you're not doing what you're meant to do. You're not doing what you're meant to do. And we can link this to the fact that many people are in careers today where they are sitting constantly in front of a screen. And the reality is, as human beings, we didn't really evolve to be seated constantly. We're supposed to be moving. We're supposed to be up and out in the world. And this has, of course, negative health effects physically and mental health, negative mental health effects as well. Well, it's great because in the skilled trades, I hear, and it can be observed that skilled trades people, they stay active at work, right? I've never interviewed someone in a skilled trade that was seated behind a computer for 10 hours a day. They're up and out in the world. They get to have variety. They get to have movement. I use my body and mind. My days are never boring. There's so much variety. You get to see the product of your work right away. Some more quotes from skilled tradespeople you're going to see in this video here. Okay, I want you to hear from some young people talking about the benefits they get, especially of working with their hands and having some variety and change in their jobs. Okay, this is another clip.
The thing I like most about being an apprentice is you get to do both. You not only get to stand back and watch the mechanics, but you also get to be with them. You get to stand beside the mechanic and learn how they're doing it. You get to learn information that isn't in your textbook. You get to learn hands-on material that no one can teach you but a mechanic.
One interesting thing about the trades is the variety of work that I get to do, from the type of material I work on, the tools I use, or the jobs I'm doing. Every day there's something different, and I'm always working on something new.
Hope you heard what Connor's there, the general machinist apprentice at the end. Every day there's something different. Every day there's something new. A great reason to keep the skilled trades on the table. Worry is up, everybody. Worry, anxiety about the future. This is especially a concern today in the artificial intelligence age, where we have many sectors of work being disrupted, when we have many people in information-based jobs, to be frank, losing their jobs to an AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning technology, and this comes with it a lot of anxiety. But what is interesting is how you see skilled tradespeople versus the rest of Canada dealing with this anxiety about their work. So as I mentioned, I did a big study of workers in Canada, and part of that involved comparing skilled tradespeople to Canadians in other jobs. And you can see here, compared to Canadians in other jobs, skilled tradespeople, look at the middle there. Most days I feel like I put it in honest days work, 73% compared to 66%. My work gives me a sense of success and achievement, 68 compared to less than half, 49. I often have fun at work, 60% of tradespeople compared to just 43% in other jobs. But the bottom, everybody, caregivers, parents, take note too. Students, note nowadays, I often feel worried. Just 17% of skilled tradespeople say that's true for me compared to 42% of Canadians in other jobs. Why are skilled tradespeople 3 times less likely to feel worried or anxious about the future when it comes to their work? Everybody, I think some of you know the answer, right? It's skills security, having skills security. Water is water, wood is wood, electricity is electricity, ingredients are ingredients, hair is hair. One can work with these materials, right, in different provinces, different countries, and be able to pivot more easily in a crisis. Okay, and when changes to technology, I help make Canada's businesses and institutes modern and safe. I contribute to the wellness of my community. I hear this from young people all across Ontario. The skills you develop are highly transferable. A trade is portable. Anyone watching today, if you're an adult watching, can you say that about your career? I hope so. If not, how will you get ahead of the artificial intelligence revolution? Okay? Think about that. And everyone stressed. Stress levels, unfortunately, are up among all age groups, but young people today in particular. And this is a result, unfortunately, of the time that we're spending on our screens, which I hope everyone is okay with me saying is only going to get more frequent, more addictive, and therefore worse for our mental health. If you were to just sort of stretch out your arms like me, I'm stretching out my arms, you want to just stretch. Imagine that's the length of time that human beings have been on the planet. The length of time that human beings have been on the planet. It's the tip of your fingernail. The tip of your fingernail would represent the amount of time in the course of human history that our brains have been able to adjust, adapt to the constant and steady stream of notifications, disruptions, interruptions every single day multiple times an hour, multiple times a minute for some people, and it's only going to become worse. How could it not? With artificial intelligence, machine learning, pushing constantly personalized messages to us. How do you get around this? Well, you have to build in, all of us, a break from these devices. And not all careers have that built in, that break. Skilled tradespeople, on the other hand, are more likely to say they do. They have work-life balance because your hands are occupied, right? So you can't be on the device all the time. You have to be safety conscious. You can't have your head in your phone. You get to have a break from these devices, which is great for one's physical health and mental health. I'm not on my phone all day. I can manage my time with my convenience. I'm usually home by 5. Okay. So if the skilled trades are so great, why is there a shortage? As I wrap up, everybody, well, we have a narrow perception, and I hope I have broadened that perception for you today. We tend mainly maybe have a very narrow perception. We think of skilled tradespeople, maybe a man, maybe an older man. And, it's not the case. There are many young people in the skilled trades, okay? And they are loving their jobs, and they are in all kinds of variety of careers that they discovered in high school. Parents and caregivers also tend to suggest, if you want a good job, you go to university. And this comes from a place of parents' number one emotion toward their child. The number one emotion of a parent to a child is to protect. And when you want to protect your kids, you give them the best information you have. And for many parents and caregivers, it just happens to be a good job means going to university. And that is in spite of the fact, when I asked the question, what makes a good job? And this is how parents and caregivers answered this question: good pay and fulfilling. And even when you ask people who are caregivers, as I talked about last month, that it's very important for their kids to be happy with their job, to have work-life balance, to have good health benefits, to stay active and healthy, and have a job that is secure, everybody. And they still say, I want my kids to work smarter, though, not harder. Well, as I said last week, and as I close, to remind everybody here, excellence is not working smarter, not harder. It's doing both. And for the young people that I've met all across Ontario, they are working smarter and harder. They're climbing the ladder. They're starting their own businesses, many in their 20s, hiring people, which makes them leaders too, and making their skeptical parents and caregivers, in some case, very, very proud in the end when they see how much their children have thrived in the skilled trades. Don't take my word for it, of course. Go and watch those videos that I produced and hear them for yourself. So 5 reasons, everyone, to pursue a career in the skilled trades, to specialize in something, get paid while learning. Okay. Again, also active at work, have skill security, and have work-life balance. Go ahead, take a picture of that slide. Make sure to go back and watch the video when it's released, the recording. Whether it's motive power, services, industrial, or construction skilled trades. You can take a tech class, you can do specialist high skills majors, dual credit, and of course, mentioned many times today, the OYAP program, where you can explore more than 140 skilled trades. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to hand it over, I think, back to Jennifer now. It's been an honor spending time with all of you. Thanks very much. Stay tuned for a little bit more before we wrap up. And go to youtube.com/Job Talks.
Thank you, John. That was amazing. So much to think about, so much great information. And I think you've given the students a lot to look into. Good possibilities for some really interesting, rewarding, and well-paying jobs and careers. So thank you for that great presentation. So that's a lot of information that John has shared with us. And now you're probably wondering, what can I do now to start looking into this at my high school? So we're happy to tell you that we have both reps from both boards here tonight. So I am going to turn it over to Sedalia Taggart from the Catholic Board and David Pope from the public board to answer your questions specifically about the programs that are available in your high schools right here in Waterloo Region. Their job is they're dedicated to helping students like yourselves plan their future in the skilled trades. So I am going to turn it over to them. We have been getting a lot of great questions and we're answering them live. If you're in the Q&A, you can see them. Keep them coming. We will do a short Q&A at the end as well. So Dave and Sedalia, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, John, for all that great information. We've run this event a few times now, and it's always well attended, and again, lots of great information for students and caregivers that are trying to understand the skilled trade pathway more. So we've had lots of great questions in the chat, and there's some that we just kind of like said we'll answer live because as we talk about the OYAP program and co-op and technological studies, we'll probably answer some of those and then we'll specifically address them as well, but keep them coming in the Q&A. That's fantastic. So Sedalia and I would like to talk about OYAP. So you may have heard of OYAP, but not really sure what it is. And so OYAP is part of co-op. So co-op is a course that you can take in grade 11 or 12. And you can actually take it as early as grade 10 summer school. And co-op is a course that lets you try a career while you're in high school. So I always say you get to try a career before you buy a career. So you get to actually go out and experience that career while you're in high school. So it's normally a 2-credit package. So you would spend either a morning or an afternoon for a semester, or potentially a full day, depending on how it works with your timetable, where you are working with an employer in your local region, and you are trying that career with somebody in the industry. If it happens to be in the skilled trades, so as John had mentioned, there's over 140 apprenticeable trades in Ontario. So most people, when they think of skilled trades, they tend to think of like maybe the top 5 they can think of. So like electrician, plumber, maybe millwright, automotive service technicians, so those. But there's actually over 140 apprenticeable trades. There's actually 144. So John mentioned the 4 different sectors. So there's motive power, there is service, there is construction, and industrial. So there's a ton of different options out there. And we highly recommend that students spend the time and use the resources that you have available to you in high school or in school to research and do that career research to try and figure out what you're interested in and what you think is the best fit for you. So there is now a compulsory grade 9 tech credit, or it's a grade 9 or grade 10 you have to take, which is fantastic because the more tech credits you take in high school, the better. That's a great chance for you to experience many different types of materials, machinery, building, creating, fixing, that sort of stuff. So again, building those hands-on skills. So taking as many of those as possible. And then we do highly recommend as well is if you can take physics. It's not compulsory, but it's something that you could take to kind of assist as if you're thinking skilled trade pathway. And then there's also entrepreneurship as a course that you can take. A lot of skilled trade workers end up starting their own business. So they go through their apprenticeship and then end up starting their own business and working for themselves. And then there's also grade 12 math. So a lot of companies are now looking for more students that have a grade 12 math. So specifically our trade unions, most trade unions will only accept candidates that have a grade 12 math. So that is something you want to make absolutely sure that that's on your list. Even if somebody tells you you don't need a grade 12 math, make sure you get it and you won't regret having that on your transcript. So again, taking tech courses, taking co-op. So like I said, co-op is one of those courses where you get to try that career, see if it's what you really want to do. Again, we're both high school teachers, so we have dealt with many students that think they know what they want to do, and then they actually go try it in co-op, and they either realize they love it and that's exactly what they want to do, or they find out they hate it and they were completely wrong about what they thought that career was. So it's a matter of trying that in high school, seeing if it's really what they think they want to do before you invest any time and money in it. So the cool part about OYAP is just part of co-op. So you don't have to apply for OYAP, you don't have to do anything of that nature. You just have to take co-op and choose a skilled trade placement. Your co-op teacher helps you find that placement. So there's something called pre-placement where you spend time with your co-op teacher and your co-op teacher tries to figure out what career you're interested in, and you normally choose your top 2 or 3, and your co-op teacher does their absolute best to try and find a career for you or a placement for you that matches your interest. If everything is going super well with that employer, especially if you're in the skilled trades, that employer can potentially sign you as an apprentice. So if you're in co-op, you can potentially start your apprenticeship before you graduate high school. So you get that huge head start because you're starting it while you're in high school, as opposed to most people that are starting their apprenticeship after they graduate. Now, there was a couple comments in the chat about college and college trades. Some people do choose to go the college pathway to get into trades, which is fine. But I do normally tell students that if you've already done lots of tech courses and you've already done co-op and have experience where you've worked with a community partner, then maybe you don't need to go to college. So if you're going to a college, they're normally starting pretty much at square one, and you might end up repeating a bunch of things. You can choose to go to college, but then you're still going to have to find that apprenticeship after you graduate from college. The most common pathway into the trades is to leave high school and search for a job. So find a company willing and looking for apprentices. So you may have to go door to door, you may have to use online job search platforms, but you're spending that time to try and find an employer looking for an apprentice. And then, as John mentioned, the best part about an apprenticeship is you earn while you learn. So you are learning on the job, you're getting paid, and every time you level up in your apprenticeship, you get paid more. And then when you complete your apprenticeship, you are a full-fledged journey person in the trade that you have successfully completed. So you can choose the college pathway and do that. And to some, it may delay that apprenticeship. Some may want more practice or more things to put on their resume before they go into an apprenticeship pathway. And that is, it's personal preference. You can choose that pathway if you'd like to. I'm going to pass it over to Sedalia. I think I said everything that I wanted to say. Oh, I will add, sorry, one more thing is we also have some specialty trade union programs. Both boards have it. So we have partnered with our local trade unions, and students that are in co-op and have applied to these programs, they spend time in their last year in high school working with the trade unions, working with the trade contractors, and then if all works out well, they sign and hire them all as apprentices. So it's another great program that we have. And I'll just add one extra little thing as well that is starting in September 2025, is there's something now called OYAP Fast. So OYAP Fast is an opportunity for those that are pursuing a skilled trade pathway and they know that 100% that's what they want to do. Is OYAP Fast is basically allowing you to take more credits of co-op before graduation, so a minimum of 8. So 8 credits of co-op, and you get more experience in the industry before graduation. And I would say the key to all of this is talking to your guidance counselor, making it crystal clear that apprenticeship and the apprenticeship pathway is the pathway that you're interested in. So now I will pass it to Sedalia.
Thank you, David. I think you covered it all. I think you hit all the important points, so I'll just continue to encourage students to speak to their guidance counselor. Let your guidance counselor know what your plan is so that they can forward to you all the opportunities available so that they can guide you in the right direction. And of course, sometimes, courses don't go well, and if that happens, try your best next time. But if your co-op experience, the first go around, is not what you were hoping for, and maybe you've realized that that's not the trade for you, there's nothing stopping you from taking co-op again and trying another trade. Because if you have the skills for the trades, and if you like doing hands-on work, and if you like the variety in the day, and if you like to be, in that environment, then there are so many trades out there. I'm sure you will find one that you like. And if the first one doesn't work out, keep trying.
And I can add in as well is if you're trying to look up information about OYAP and maybe SHSM or dual credit, there's many different things. Look up pathway programs. So all of these enhancement programs, so OYAP, SHSM, and dual credit, are considered pathway programs. So whether you're talking to a guidance counselor as a parent and trying to find out the best options for your child, or you're a student and you're trying to figure out what to do, go talk to your guidance counselor and ask about the different pathway programs. So all the schools have access to OYAP, SHSM, and dual credit, and find out, so talk to your guidance counselor, and they will lead you in the best direction of what program fits you best.
Thank you so much, Dave and Sedalia. We really appreciate you sharing your knowledge, and the students can find you or after, or also, like you said, their guidance counselors are great resources. I want to thank Jon as well for such a great presentation before, for sharing all your insights. And we are going to do a real quick question and answer period here. We've had lots of questions coming in. So I will ask Dave, there's a bunch of questions that I think you chose you'd like to answer live. They're great questions. So I will read the first one out. What is the most needed trade?
So they're all needed. They're all in demand right now. The only thing I definitely always tend to point out is the trades you can think of first. So kind of those 4 or 5 that I mentioned. So like electrician, plumber, millwright, maybe automotive service technician. Those are the ones that most people think of first. So that they are still in demand, but they're harder to get into because there's more people looking to fill that spot. So employers are a little more choosy when they are choosing which apprentices they choose to take on. And a kind of a follow-up question to this was like, can we get a list of the top most wanted trades or non-trade jobs? So there is something called the Workforce Planning Board. Every region has one, so we have one. And they do all sorts of studies on what the workforce in our region looks like. And I'm sure the link for it will be posted in the chat in a moment. But they have lots of good documents that kind of catalog and look at where the needs are in our area. So again, using the resources that's available to you will really help you kind of figure out what's in need. All of our students, whether you're in Waterloo Catholic or Waterloo Region, we both have My Blueprint. It allows you to do career exploration. It lets you, it's not a matter of just like what's in the most needed career. It's also what do you see yourself doing that matches your skill set, and finding out what's available in the region.
Another question was, do you recommend any particular schools, colleges in Ontario or elsewhere for getting into the skilled trades?
I guess I can answer that one again. So I would say in our own backyard, we have Conestoga College. They have fantastic facilities. They have lots of course options. So if you are choosing that college pathway into the trades, that's great. And again, Conestoga is probably the simplest option. I would say that just be careful, because since there is such a need in skilled trades, there are lots of other, I'll say, smaller company names that are coming out where it's trades related, and they're charging a ton of money for you to start an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship should be you're getting paid to learn. You shouldn't be paying a ton of money, like thousands and thousands of dollars, to get an apprenticeship. So just be very careful when you're researching and you find something that sounds awesome, but you're spending multiple thousands of dollars to get your apprenticeship. I would be weary about choosing that option.
Thanks, Dave. Another question. Can you make a sector switch? Is that allowed, say, from construction to auto or vice versa?
I guess I'm answering all the questions at this point. I'm assuming you're talking in co-op. So in co-op, yes, you can switch from one co-op placement to another. That is totally an option. We don't want students to just like show up for a day and then go like, I don't like it, and try something else. You have to give it a really good effort. There's a bunch of paperwork involved. There's the co-op teacher and yourself would have to be working with this employer. So showing up for a couple of days saying I don't like it and leaving, it's a lot of work to make it happen. So you have to give a really good shot, make sure it's like, give it a really good chance before you change your mind and want to try something else. But it's possible.
Sorry, David. I was answering all the questions. I was typing and I could not multitask.
Okay, got it. I don't mind answering.
Well, I believe we've come to the Dave, you did a great job, though. I believe we've come to the end of our time. So I want to thank everyone for investing an hour of your time to come and listen to this great presentation. You've got lots of things you can think about and maybe start doing on your own. You will be getting a follow-up email from me. It'll probably be next week, which will include a video recording of this presentation. So you can watch it again if there was something you missed, you want to share it with someone else. That will be coming. Also a short survey. We'd like to know what you thought. keep in mind that the BEP, we're local. We run a lot of great free career-related events for young people in the community. So follow us, go to our website. All of these links will be shared with you also in the email. And we actually have a really great event coming up on April 15th. It's called Careers in the Skilled Trades, and it will be an in-person panel discussion at the Waterloo Public Library up near Rim Park. And it will be a great opportunity to hear 4 different people who are in the trades and answering questions and talking about their experiences. So we strongly encourage you to come to that. So with that, I will thank everyone for their time, and I hope everyone has a great night.